this weekend was great. It snowed here in Atlanta. It was absolutely awesome to see the snowfall. It snowed a good bit, enough for us to make snowman. My son went out and played. I posted the pictures up on Twitter. It was really awesome. During that time, the defensive coordinator for the Falcons, Jimmy Lake, was released of his duties along with the defensive line coach. Now, I can't remember the defensive line coach name, and it's kind of unfortunate, but at the end of the day, it is what it is. We've seen this coming. We've seen how things go when there's a business and you underperform. Now, I didn't think it was going to fire him as far as us seeing it coming, but when it happened, you say, okay, I can see why that happened because of the fact that he just underperformed. You had a situation where there was rumors that Raheem Morris was calling plays at the end of the season or the middle half of the season where you saw the defense actually start to play a little bit better. But I just don't know. I mean, sometimes things just happen where some guys just don't pan out. Jimmy Lake was a head coach at the University of Washington. He had other places that he was at, and he did pretty good. I mean, it's not like he did like a horribly bad where he was before, but I think this job was a little bit too much for him. And he seems like one of those guys that's probably a nice little cog in coaching staff, but not necessarily as a coordinator or just like definitely like not a head coach. Well, hopefully they land on their feet. Those two guys who was let go, whatever the case may be, and hopefully everything will work out for them because you don't want to see people lose their job. But then again, you don't want nobody to hang around that doesn't perform to the highest level. I mean, it is what it is. Now, speaking of somebody who's walking away from the game and somebody who was not able to perform on a high level because of an injury, David Dallas, the twin brother of Josh Dallas, is stepping away from football because of his shoulder injury. This is something that I haven't talked about when it comes to Georgia Southern. I just didn't really touch on it because it was not that much information out there. And there were some rumblings to say that he could have been QB1, but I was just going to wait and see if I got more confirmation. Unfortunately, he never was able to get over the shoulder injury that I think he sustained it when he first got to Georgia Southern. And it's very unfortunate. A lot of people say that he would have been absolutely phenomenal under center for Georgia Southern. And if you see anything like his brother, Josh Dallas, who's basically become one of the big stars at Georgia Southern, you're probably right. His brother probably was going to be just as good as Josh. So it's really unfortunate. You could have probably seen those two together on the field, and watching them clips in high school, you were like, yo, these guys are it. Not only that, off the field, I've heard nothing but great things about both of the brothers. And for Josh to be that ambassador to starting to step up to be a leader on the team, which I definitely see that coming on in the next couple of years or even next year, it would have been nice to see his brother be the same way. But nevertheless, hopefully, things will get better for David in his injury. He's just stepping away from football. There's not saying that he's retiring. There's been rumblings on the interweb saying that he's in the transfer portal. I think they put that out there because he said he's taking time away from football for the foreseeable future. They didn't say he's hanging up the cleats. This is not a situation like, a Grayson McCall per se, where Grayson McCall had so many injuries and he just basically had to walk away. It's not one of those situations, like I talked about with Tyrell Davis in his injury where, he had to hang up the cleats, which is very unfortunate because I really wanted to see him be, one of the top guys that could walk away from Georgia Southern with a full career. And unfortunately, you're probably not going to see that with David Dallas as of right now. You just never know. 2 or 3 years down the road, he may have like 1 year eligibility left, and he'll probably be able to come back. It's just not really. Let me fix this because I know people are going to say this about my ticker. I need to put an S on the back of that leave, the word leave. But yeah, you just never know. Like at the end of the day, what is going to happen with any of these guys? Maybe he never plays football again. But I think he left that window open just a little bit to let you know, like, hey, I'm just leaving for the foreseeable future. So that's probably why you see on 27sports.com where it says that he is, just in the transfer portal. I don't think he's going to transfer out. To be honest, I don't think he's going to leave his brother. I will be extremely surprised if he leaves his brother for another school or whatever the case may be. That would be crazy. I think they're going to be sticking together, and people are already talking about that he could possibly be a coach one day. He's just that good as far as having a football mind and the ability to process the game, which I haven't seen that. Not I'm not saying that it's true or not that it could happen, but it would be really interesting to see that. But at the end of the day, it's really unfortunate for both of these stories. Jimmy Lake could have been, that next defensive coordinator. Unfortunately, it didn't pan out. David Dallas could have been one of the next great quarterbacks at Georgia Southern, which I believe if he did play, you're talking about a kid that probably would have been here all 4 years. He just seems like one of those guys that cut from that same cloth. Same thing with Josh. I don't see those two twins. They don't look like the type, and I could be completely wrong because you've seen people transfer out under all type of circumstances or whatever the case may be. But I don't see a situation where these two guys would have probably transferred to another school. They were supposed to go to like Western Michigan or something like that. They was both recruited there and both, I think they damn near committed there. And the power of Clay Helton, which one thing I can say about Clay Helton, he may not get it all the way down on the field like we want to here at Georgia Southern, but he's one hell of a recruiter. And he was able to pull those guys back home to play for Georgia Southern. And that was absolutely phenomenal. So we'll see how that goes. At the end of the day, it is what it is. These type of things do happen in the world of sports, let alone football. And hopefully these two situations will turn out for the best wherever they land. With that being said, I'm going to get up out of here. Before I get out of here, though, there's a quarterback situation going on at Georgia Southern that I don't want to really touch on just yet. I think it's honestly, it's probably a little bit sensitive to talk about based on the last 2 or 3 years at Georgia Southern at the quarterback position. You saw Davis Brin, you saw J.C. French, you saw Dexter Williams, and now you got another quarterback coming in. We'll touch on that at a later date, but if you know, you know. I want to get up out of here. You guys enjoy the rest of your day. I'm out of here. Peace.